Hello everyone, quickly before we get into the video, if you could like and subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, help get this video pushed out there and help it through the YouTube algorithm, I will be ever eternally grateful. Now let's get on to the video. Hello and welcome back your lovely faces to another video here on the channel. This is the final memorandum video that Johnny Depp and his team have sent. Let's jump straight into part B. The other discovery sought by the subpoenas is relevant to the claims and defences in the Virginia action. The ACLU witnesses' arguments against the relevancy of the other topics of discovery. Mr. Depp seeks in discovery unravel when the ACLU witnesses' participation in drafting and placing the defamatory op-ed is accounted for. The ACLU witnesses argue that to the extent that AH discussed her relationship with or divorced from Mr. Depp in connection with the preparation of the op-ed, the ACLU witnesses will produce these materials, but a broader search for documents related to these topics, untethered to the conception or preparation of the op-ed, goes too far. They also argue that communications concerning the Virginia action could not possibly be relevant to Johnny Depp's claims that AH made false statements in the op-ed, because the Virginia action was commenced after the op-ed was published. Yeah, they've tried saying that the op-ed went after he tried suing her. No, it didn't go like that. These arguments, however, ignore the import of the fact that AH was sued for the op-ed that the ACLU helped her write. It is hardly a fishing expedition to seek discovery into whether AH and the ACLU communicated about the fodder for the op-ed, such as AH's relationship and divorce from Mr. Depp, after the op-ed was published, when AH was then sued for the statements therein. Presumably, the ACLU witnesses and AH would have discussed the basis and veracity of the statement in the op-ed in assessing and marshalling her defence, and by extension, the ACLU's, which we saw will skirt around the NDA. We don't want to talk about your marriage. We tried and stopped talking about this and gone around it. We've all seen the emails. The ACLU's participation in AH's defence, including by submitting the Wisner Declaration on her behalf, confirms that this type of coordination likely occurred. Moreover, the Virginia court recently recognised the ACLU's role in AH's defence strategy, holding that AH had waived any privilege over communications with the ACLU by invoking their advice as a defence to Mr. Depp's defamation claims. Any admission by AH that she lied about Mr. Depp done this to her, any expressions of doubt by the ACLU concerning AH's claim of this, or concerns that they participated in the publication of AH's false claims is highly probative of what the ACLU witnesses admit is the only issue in the Virginia action, whether AH made false statements when she wrote the op-ed. It's getting juicy, guys. Even this entire document has been amazing. There's so many things in it that just like, well, we've seen this. How can the ACLU keep going on and saying, oh yeah, this never happened, or we're not going to give you any information, we're not going to give you this, we're not going to give you that, even though they're going out of their way by keeping all this to themselves. But then they say, oh, he sued her before the op-ed, or you can get all of this already from her. Well, they don't want that. They want what you got. They want to see if her things actually line up correctly with what she's saying. So you got to give us the evidence. But they don't like to think like that. The subpoenas ad testificandum seek information relevant to the Virginia action. As set forth above, in resisting the depositions Mr. Depp seeks, the ACLU have failed to mention that Mr. Depp's counsel made clear that he is not insisting on taking the deposition of an ACLU corporate representative, if Mr. Wisner and Mr. Romero can collectively cover the topics in the subpoena ad testificandum to the ACLU Foundation. In fact, to avoid any unnecessary burden and duplication, Mr. Depp's counsel proposed a wait-and-see approach that the ACLU appear to have conveniently forgotten. In any event, the ACLU contention that Mr. Depp's insistence on deposing Mr. Romero is particularly egregious. is rather pure hyperbole, as the ACLU concede there is documentary evidence that Mr. Romero is the individual with whom AH communicated concerning her donations to the ACLU. In fact, based on her production, it appears that Mr. Romero was the only individual at the ACLU to communicate with her regarding her donations. Moreover, based on single email chain produced by AH, it appears that she and Mr. Romero had a close, friendly relationship. They stated that they missed each other. AH discusses her plans with Elon, with whom she was believed to be in a romantic relationship at the time, and Mr. Romero responds, "Love that guy. Love you too." Those. Just seeing them, I remember just, ugh. It's exactly what I sound like. Accordingly, Mr. Romero's knowledge concerning AH's donations and her romantic relationships appear unique, or at the very least, superior to that of anyone else at the ACLU. Pursuing his deposition is not egregious, but warranted. Number 4. Mr. Depp's proposed confidentiality protections are reasonable and consistent with applicable law. As detailed above, the ACLU's attempt to distract from their unfounded demands for special confidential treatment by reframing Mr. Depp's position on confidentiality as unreasonable. Contrary to the ACLU obfuscations, Mr. Depp has, consistent with New York law, agreed to standard confidential protections for any trade secrets or proprietary business information produced by the ACLU witnesses. The protective orders should be limited to trade or business secrets and are required to be specific. Ms. Depp's insistence that no use restrictions apply to non-confidential information produced by the ACLU also comports with New York law. Indeed, the ACLU witnesses have not identified a single authority supporting their demand for restricted use of any non-confidential materials they produce, and the 3 model confidentiality orders they rely upon do not provide any such protection for non-confidential information either. It is the ACLU witnesses who are refusing to agree to standard confidentiality protections, not Mr. Depp, and he should not be required to acquiesce to their unreasonable and baseless demands in order to discover the relevant evidence he seeks in their subpoenas. Dated New York, June 8th, 2021. This is just unbelievable, guys. I really do look at all of this, and to be honest with you, I just can't believe that they're still doing this. They are literally stating, "Oh, this is protected, we want this, we want that." They are literally going out of their way, making more work for themselves than for anyone else. They are making it look to everyone, including the judge in Virginia, the New York law as well. Every single place is going to look at these people and be like, "What is your problem? There is no need for this." They are just running up bills for no apparent reason. And obviously, we kind of know that they're the ones who are helping AH with a lot of stuff. With them saying, "We're not going to hand this over, we're not going to hand that over. We want First Amendment protection. We want this to be non-confidential, but we also want it to be confidential." It's just them messing around. It's almost like they're trying to buy time. But trying to buy time for what? If you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe, hit that notification bell for future updates, and I'll see each and every one of you soon.